by Food Lion, by Geico, by Ford, by Chick-fil-A, by Advance Auto Parts, and by Bud Light.
Spectacular day in the Boston area. The Charles River not frozen. Very little snow up here. Almost spring-like in Boston.
Oh, bite your tongue.
And in Chestnut Hill, things heating up as we get ready for the start of this game. The Food Line starting lineups looks like this. Singletary, Jones, Pettinella, Scott, and Joseph. So Mike Scott gets the start today. Rice, Sanders, Blair, Paris, and Oates as they continue to juggle their lineups. These two teams trying to still find themselves 25 days out now till the ACC tournament.
Very interesting thing to watch today is will Sean Singletary and Tyrese Rice match up against one another? Will they guard one another on the defensive end of the court?
Well, Blair and Scott will go up, and it'll be Boston College with the basketball first.
And here's Sean Singletary and Virginia's man-to-man matching up against Tyrese Rice. Those guys going against one another all game long, Tim, that's worth the price of admission.
And Rice with the turnaround, draws iron, and Scott with his first rebound of the game. Here comes Singletary. He'll penetrate, put it off the glass and over the glass, hit the scoreboard. It'll be out of bounds, and it'll be BC ball.
Off for Boston College in their man-to-man defense, it was Biko Paris matching up against Sean Singletary. That's very interesting. You have a freshman. A lot of confidence in a freshman, matching him up against one of the best guards in America.
Well, Biko Paris has been one of the top defenders all season, albeit he's a very young guy headed to Orleans, Louisiana.
Virginia in the man-to-man.
Blair on Pettinella, kicks it into the corner. Back to Blair, this is for two.
Now, if you're Virginia, that's a pretty good defensive series. You'd rather have Blair outside shooting jump shots.
A couple good trips for the young Mike Scott, too, with his block outs and 2 rebounds. Man-to-man defense. Cavaliers now have to start looking at the clock as it goes down to 12.
Tim, the clock went down to 10 before Virginia even got into anything, and that just puts a lot of pressure on your offense.
Here's Singletary with 4 on the shot clock. They're not going to get one off.
Tim, until there were 12 seconds, you said it correctly, they went through 23 seconds on the shot clock, did Dave Lato's club, before they even started to think about taking the ball to the basket. It's a Virginia offense that sometimes they don't get a lot of player movement. The ball goes into one guy's hands, and there's a lot of dribbling, and everybody else sort of stops.
So here we are now, almost 2 minutes in, and still no score. Paris gets it back. Oates is not going to shoot from there.
He won't shoot from there if he's guarded, but he shoots over 70% from beyond the arc in ACC play. Sanders
turns it over. Here's a look at Al Skinner in his 20th season as the head coach, his 11th at Boston College, BC's all-time winningest coach. He was working hard before the ball game, too.
He is really one of the country's outstanding coaches, and you don't hear very much about him, but he just, year in and year out, his teams compete very hard and for the most part very successfully.
Well, they're 4-6 in the ACC, 13-10 overall, and he is coaching like the season is just starting. That one was halfway down, came back out. Joseph thought he had it.
And that was a good offensive set for Virginia. A lot of movement. Joseph had the open shot, just didn't get it to go down. Part of Virginia's problem is they really have no offensive presence on the inside, so their game is limited to the perimeter, and that's where people guard them.
Somebody is going to score here today, I guarantee it. But here it is, 17-28 to play in the first, and we're still scoreless. Look at Dave Lato trying to get his team to battle out of this 7-game losing streak. He was the 2007 ACC Coach of the Year.
He was coach here at Northeastern, so he is not unfamiliar with the Boston area. And this is a Virginia team. They're 1-9 in the ACC, but 3 of their losses have been in overtime, 3 others by 2 points or less. So they are a team that's struggling, but they're not very far away from being in the thick of things. They are a dangerous, dangerous opponent.
Pettinella kicks it out, 18 on the shot clock for the Cavaliers. Here's Jones. Jones throws it away, and Rice will push it.
BC in the zone. Virginia, I don't think recognized.
And there's Rice is on the board for the first 2 of the game.
Tyrese Rice gets to the basket as well as any guard in the country. You simply have to stop him. Much easier said than done, however.
But he'll go up against, you're right, any size player. It doesn't matter. This is Jones for 2, and he hits. See if we can heat this thing up a little bit. Rice will bring it back down. And they get into their offense. Sanders, Blair, yes.
And that's part of the danger if you allow the Boston College perimeter guys to penetrate. Blair, who's not a big offensive threat, is able to get himself in open positions. He catches the ball pretty well, and he has improved as a finisher throughout the season.
And this foul will be called on Terrell Blair. Dan, we were down there the other night. We saw Sean Singletary with those 27 points against Carolina. Spectacular game. Gave him a chance at the very end. They just ran out of time.
Generally, you're going to have a chance if you've got Sean Singletary on your side. Dave Lato certainly happy he does.
I'll tell Scoreboard keeping you up to date on all the scores around the country. As Jones gets the roll on the first one. Jeff Jones has started the last 2 games. Started against UNC and Wake Forest. 68% free throw shooter. 6'4", 193-pounder out of Chester Putt.
He's a guy who made 5 of 7 3-point baskets in a huge win at Arizona, but for the rest of the season, take out that game, he's 2 for 22 from beyond the arc. He's a young man with a reputation as a shooter, and here Calvin Baker comes in the game for Jones.
So we're tied at 4, and it's very quiet in the Connie Forum today. Sounds like the library.
There's not very many students here, and generally when you're playing college basketball, the students are the ones who set the tone.
Here's Oates from outside. Baker beyond the arc, way too strong. It's like the players are still trying to warm up. Rice for 3. Yes!
But when BC pushes it up in transition, everybody goes, the defense all goes on the inside. You just can't lose Tyrese Rice like that.
3-point lead for the Eagles.
A couple of questionable shots in a row for Virginia. And Sean Singletary's taking 1 shot in the first 5 minutes of the game?
And it went over the backboard. Sanders beyond the arc.
That kid has had a great freshman season, was outstanding in the game against North Carolina State. He's picking up right where he left off there.
6-point lead. Sean just eases into a ball game. Off-balance shot, gets the roll, nicely done by Scott.
And that's
off to a good start.
Well, that's what we're talking about for Virginia. They have to establish something inside. When Pettinella set the screen for Sean Singletary, Blair double-teamed Singletary. Nobody paid any attention to Pettinella.
Shot by Blair is good.
Well, you wanted offense, Tim. You're getting something.
After a slow start, they're starting to heat up here. 6-point lead for BC.
A little bit of a danger zone here for Virginia. You don't want to let Boston College get going too well here early.
Pettinella dribbles it off his foot and loses it out of bounds. Timeout on the floor. 14-13 to play. First half, 12-6 BC.
Daddy.
Maybe.
Thanks. See you later. I'm sorry.
Somewhere between grade school and grad school, you're going to need a bank. We'd like to be it. The personal bankers of RBC Centura. With more proactive advice, home equity loans for college, and dedicated service than you'd expect from a bank. RBC Centura. Let's do something giant.